basically, this is where we lived for the first full year, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, my wife and kids, we'd all play right here and organize different events for the community and stuff like that. And so we started right there and just had a pool party right after kind of a Bible study, and had a lot of fun right there almost 2 years ago. So this was kind of a common spot to come, and kids would play and ride bikes, and we just always had kind of a culture within our church early on of just building friendships with neighbors, playing, and so I think that's been very formative for Imago Dei and very foundational. This is the beginnings right here. Had a lot of good discussion, a lot of good encouragement, a lot of good ministry right here. People came to Christ and after sharing the gospel, and then we baptized them in the pools and discipled them through the Word. What happened was Dave and Jamie, they came to our apartments, and then we started needing to combine. We had two groups at this point. We had a group that started forming MC, a missional community forming, where David and Micah, Scott and Carrie were, and then we had a group at our apartments, and then we started saying, hey, well, why don't we combine these two communities for a worship celebration? So that's when we met Dave and Jamie, and the first time I walked over here, kind of funny story, they invited us over for dinner, wanted to meet the pastor and the wife in a more kind of comfortable setting, but I walked into this door right here, and we had dinner, and the first thing I said was, wow, this is a perfect place to have a church. And everybody kind of chuckled, and actually, you know what, 2 months later, it's where we kicked off our church. And so this was the first place where we had Ian come and his wife, and they just had joined our team. And Ian is now our worship leader. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of kicking off the church, and really what the church is for us is where there's gathered believers, organized for ministry, partaking in communion, there's baptism, there's preaching of the Word, and there's leadership in place. And so 1 year, June 26, 2011, was the birth of the church for Imago Dei. So this is the church right here, and the Presbyterian congregation that meets there has been extremely generous and kind to allow us to stay there. And we meet here every Sunday. Just started doing some training, and training in kind of evangelism and training in understanding the Bible as a storyline to communicate, so we could have gospel conversations with people in the city. Today there's I guess about last Sunday or so, there was just under 100 people that were a part of Imago Dei. It's a perfect environment for us to meet each Sunday, do children's ministry. We have classes, and we have our time of worship, about run 90-minute services where we do worship and communion, and have a sweet time each Sunday. Berry Goldwater High School is the last high school in the North Valley where there's not a church meeting. So this area has been growing a lot in years past, and we're past the big boom, but there's still people that are moving into the area. But this area is a little bit kind of an economically depressed area, and so what we did is we identified needs in this community right over here. We found a community of need where we came alongside a Hispanic pastor who felt called by God to love on this area and love on these people, and we partnered with him early on in the life of our church to meet the needs of the community. Right, well, here we are. You can see this is like a medical space or whatever, but the uniqueness about it is you can see right over here, this is Barry Goldwater High School. And we believe that would really enable us to really be a part of the solution in this community is setting up shop to help equip and educate the students. So the principal and the state are all getting behind this school, the federal government, to turn around and improve the overall well-being of the school and their goal to do an excellent job in the area of education. But what we want to do as a church, if God in His graciousness would grant us the privilege to raise up investors or donors that would enable us to get this property for rent. We've already met with people that would do the build out for cost. Then we would set up what we call a training center in the community and work with a number of city leaders. We already have contacted and met with city leaders that have organized massive city transformation, urban renewal, city restoration stuff. But this would be Imago Dei's offices, but also as well a training center for the community. And so it's about 1,800 square feet, and the cool thing is there's a crosswalk right over there. So our hope would be is if God opened this avenue up for us to have this where we didn't have to overtax the church financially, but if there was investors or donors that provided this, then we'd set this up as a training center for students that would walk across the crosswalk and then meet in the morning for tutoring and training, working with a number of different organizations to meet those social needs. But as well, we're teaming up with Young Life to go onto the campus. Young Life is a worldwide ministry to high school students, and we're working with them to set up shop potentially here, but specifically to get into Barry Goldwater. So here is, you can just glance in a little bit, but this is the space. It's not even finished yet at all. So this is the icing on the cake, and we understand that. Our main business is declaring and demonstrating the gospel and making disciples who live out gospel-centered lives. And so our main attention is over there on moving in and having a worship experience every Sunday. But this would be a stable hub for the church, meeting 7 days a week and enabling many people in the community to come and be equipped and trained. We just kicked off prayer walks around the school and praying for the city and praying for the community and praying that God would bless this initiative and that we feel He's called us to. But we ask that people would pray with us for this community. And additionally, we pray that people would respond by joining. So possibly if you're watching this, you may not be a part, but you want to join and be a part, and we invite people to join us in this mission. Many of our pastors are supported by people and organizations outside of Arizona for the first few years, and so we ask that people respond by giving financially if they would want to get behind the office project or be involved with just getting us here on Sunday mornings. We need people that would support us financially. And then lastly, everybody could help by just spreading the word, just getting the word out and sharing what God is doing in Imago Dei Community Church. So thank you for being a part. I hope this helps capture the storyline of Imago Dei, and we are excited in our first year to celebrate what God's accomplished in and through His church.